Hello. This presentation is on procurement of PPPs and is presented by group members, Maria Tim, David Monawa, and myself, Martin Wenwa. We've broken the procurement of PPPs down into 4 areas, which is the principles, the methods, the steps in procuring PPPs, and the bid evaluation criteria. Now, references has been made to the PPP guidelines, PPP Act 2015, PPP policy framework. The objective of the procurement stage is the selection through a procurement procedure of a private party for the implementation of the PPP project. The procurement stage involves selecting a private party that is technically and financially capable of undertaking the project and offers the most advantageous price-quality combination. Then highlighted below are principles of procurement of PPPs in accordance to PPP policy framework. Number 1 is value for money. Number 2 is public interest. Number 3 is risk allocation. Number 4 is output oriented. Number 5 is the transparency. Number 6 is accountability. And number 7 is competitive tender process. Now, the PPP procurement methods are categorized into 2. That is the competitive bidding methods and non-competitive methods. According to the PPP Act 2015, the competitive bidding methods include open bidding and restricted bidding. Now, under open bidding, there shall be a direct invitation to participation by all interested bidders and shall be by an invitation to tender or call for expression of interest to the public, for the public-private partnership made in more than 1 newspaper of nationwide circulation. And then the second competitive method is restricted bidding, which is restricted bidding which shall be used to obtain bids by direct invitation without open advertisement. The other method the other methods are under the non-competitive methods, which are direct procurement and unsolicited proposals. Under direct procurement, this is where a sole source procurement method is used, where the circumstances do not allow the use of competition. The direct procurement method shall be used to achieve efficient and timely procurement where the circumstances do not allow the use of a competitive method. The second non-competitive method is the unsolicited proposals, which is a proposal for a public-private partnership that is independently originated and developed by the proposer of the unsolicited proposal and is prepared without the supervision of the contracting authority. Now, these are the steps in procurement, the public-private partnerships according to the PPP guidelines. Number 1 is request for qualification, which is abbreviated RFQ. The project team, with the support of the transaction advisor, prepares the notice of the RFQ, which is used to announce the procurement of the project, and the RFQ, which is used to invite prospective bidders to apply for the pre-qualification. The notice of the RFQ will contain a brief description of the project and the intent of the contracting authority to undertake the project, and a brief description of the envisaged PPP arrangement, specifying the obligations of the PPP of the private party, among others. Number 3, the pre-qualification criteria will include legal requirements, financial capability, and technical capability. I'll invite Mary to take it on from here.
Okay, thank you, Martin. So the steps in procuring the PPPs according to the PPP guidelines, which is part 5.2 and 5.3. One is the issuance of the RFQs. The procurement is announced to prospective bidders by publishing the notice of the request for bids in at least 2 newspapers with wide national circulation, and also posted on the PPP unit website. Then we go on to a submission and evaluation of PPPs, the preparation of the bidding documents as per the selected procurement methods, and the issuance of the bidding document to the pre-qualified bidders, clarification of bidding documents and dialogue with the pre-qualified bidders. And according to the PPP Act, that would constitute the competitive dialogue procedure and the negotiated procedure. Then according to the PPP guidelines, an evaluation committee is constituted. And this committee will open the bids in a public session to which the bidders are invited. The evaluation committee will evaluate the technical bids in accordance with the evaluation criteria in the request for bids. After this, an evaluation report will be provided describing the history of the bid process, the submitted bids, and the results of the evaluation, which will be submitted to the contracting authority. After review, the contracting authority will submit this bid evaluation report to the PPP committee. A notification of evaluation decisions to the bidder and upon decision of the contracting authority to proceed to the contracting phase, the bidders are notified of the results, and of course, there's designation of the preferred bidder. The contracting authority will provide the final PPP agreement in dialogue with the preferred bidder. The Solicitor General reviews the PPP agreement as per Article 119, Part 5 of the Ugandan Constitution. The accounting office of the contracting authority will submit the PPP agreement, the contract management plan, and the process audit report to Cabinet for approval before the agreement is signed. The contracting authority will only issue a notice of award that confirms the award of the project to the successful bidder upon approval from Cabinet. Let me now hand over to David to take us through the evaluation of bid criteria, among others.
Thank you very much, Mary. Of course, when bids have been received by the contracting authority, they have to be evaluated to come up with the selected or preferred bidder. A criteria is stipulated which should be followed. There are key things to consider. Number one, whether the bid is in line with the principles which are set out under the Section 3 of the PPP Act, whether the bidder has the economic and financial standing to manage the project, saying that these are actually projects which need a lot of funding, and whether the bidder has ability to secure credit from different financing institutions, and whether they have the technical and professional capability to implement the given project. So the evaluation committee must submit a report to the contracting authority clearly defining the criteria of affordability and value for money and substantial technical and operational financial risk transfer based on their assessment of the preferred bidder. We have also looked at some key lessons learned, challenges, and way forward for PPPs in Uganda, having looked at the different projects that have been implemented, including the Kampala Express Highway, Kampala-Jinja Express Highway, the New Nile River Bridge, among others. And from here, the key lessons learned include the need for a clear legal and regulatory framework needs to be improved. the need for transparency in the procurement process to make it more competitive, a fair distribution of risks between public and private sectors is required if the PPP arrangement is to be effective. And also the need to engage all relevant stakeholders and communities, which is very critical for acceptance and success of projects. The government needs to provide adequate capacity within their agencies to effectively monitor and evaluate and implement these projects, and also securing local and foreign capital to manage PPP projects. Challenges faced include public resistance and opposition to PPPs due to concerns about privatization, and then inadequate mechanisms for identifying and preparing PPP projects. Future considerations for PPPs in Uganda include social and environmental impact, which needs to be considered in all projects. They need to benchmark with international best practices, the need for legal reforms to streamline PPP implementation, and the need to ensure extensive stakeholder consultations during PPP project development, procurement, and delivery. And finally, the need to establish mechanisms for post-implementation evaluations. That ends our presentation. Thank you very much.